dry my hair. It's good. Good morning. Welcome to my channel, Over 60 Scene, and I'm Wilma. And this morning I'm going to do a get ready with me. I have a meeting to go to at 10 o'clock, so I just thought I would do a quick video, get ready with me, and talk about some things. I have a confession. When I was a teenager, I had really bad skin, really bad. I was broken out, most of the time. And thankfully, I did go to a dermatologist. My parents took me to a dermatologist who put me on a regimen of different types of creams and lotions and cleansers, and I think he did sun lamp treatments, and I think I was taking tetracycline at some point. Anyway, this started right when I went through puberty and lasted into my early 30s. My skin finally cleared up pretty much completely after I had my daughter in my early 30s. So all during my teens and 20s, I suffered with really bad acne, and I had scarring, and it would seem like it would start to lessen, and then I would have another flare up. And it was really heartbreaking. It was really hard to deal with. And back then, we didn't know what, there was a lot of old wives' tales, about like it's your diet, you eat too much chocolate, don't eat ice cream, don't have French fries. I think iodized salt was like supposed to be an issue. Greasy food, of course. Well, what teenager doesn't like greasy food? Come on. And then the one that I really loved was, oh, well, you must not wash very much or something like that. Well, that wasn't true. I washed as much as anybody else every day, multiple times a day, followed the regimen that the dermatologist gave me. And, it would help a little bit, but I'd still have the breakouts. But it wasn't until I had my daughter that it went away completely. And I feel that, at least in my case, it was hormonal. So I've always had a love-hate relationship with skincare. But I'm going to show you what I do now at age 67, so 50 years later, what I do. Because I don't have to worry about breakouts anymore. Maybe once in a while I'll get, something. But as a general rule, I don't have a problem with that anymore. Okay, what I found recently, which is really helping in the winter, is vitamin E oil. And I got this in the aisle of my drugstore that has all the generic stuff, like all the really cheap generic brands of everything. Here was this bottle of vitamin E oil, and I'm like, I'm going to try that. I started out putting it under my eyes, maybe to help, with the wrinkles in the bags a little bit. And then with the winter coming on, I'm finding that if I put it all over my face, it really really feels nice. So that's what I do. The first thing after I got out of the shower, I put this on all over my face. And then the moisturizer that my dermatologist tells me to use is CeraVe. And yes, I still go to a dermatologist because I have fair skin. I'm Irish, English, German, French descent. So I have fair skin and I freckle, obviously. And this is what he tells me to use, this moisturizing cream. And it has hyaluronic acid. Let me show you. It's a cream. It's very thick. Doesn't fall, it's not going to come out. And you don't need very much, This lasts me a good long time. months and months. And I put it on every day. So that's my that's my two things that I do now in the winter, the vitamin E oil and this. And then when I have it, when I can afford it, I'm using the Estee Lauder Revitalizing Supreme Youth Power Eye Balm. And I put it underneath my eyes. I'm running out because I've been using it a lot. I just dab it under here, which I already did. I dabbed it like that. So those are the things that I use in the morning before I put on my makeup. So, okay, so today I have a meeting to go to at 10 o'clock, so I am going to wear some makeup today. And, yeah, I'd like to hear some comments from you about your skin experience as a teenager. And did you have perfect skin? Did you have bad skin? Did you break out just once in a while? What was your experience? I remember going to my dermatologist as a teenager, and one time I went and my neck was all dry. And he said, why is your neck so dry? And I'm like, well, I don't know. He says, why aren't you putting moisturizer on your neck? And I'm like, well, you didn't tell me to. That was my answer. At age 13 or 14, like, what did I know about skincare? I didn't know anything about skincare back then. My mother, I think, probably used Pond's, maybe. I don't know. I didn't even know what my mother used. We had Jergens and we had Pond's. There really wasn't that much to choose from back then. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and put on a little concealer because, like I said, I have a meeting to go to. I found this concealer at the dollar store. It's called Be Pure Hydrating Under Eye Concealer. And I'm really liking this. And it's the color Fair. And like it was like $1.25 at the dollar store. I saw it and I went, oh, I'm just going to try it and see. So I'm just going to put a little on my brush here. Hopefully you can see me doing this. Yeah, I think you can. Okay, oh boy, that might be too much. Okay, that's too much. You don't need that much, Wilma. But anyway, okay. And I usually do my lid because it hides the veins and everything. And even if I don't want to do eyeshadow, I'm going to go out here because I have this vein. Oops, let me get my hair back out of my face. I have this vein here. But I am liking this concealer, and it doesn't go in the creases too much. So I'm pretty happy about that. Let me do the other eye. Just put a little tiny dot, just that much. Why do we do this with our mouths when we put concealer on? I do it. I don't know. Maybe you don't do it. But I do. I'm just going to go across my whole lid. Get cover up all the blue veins. My skin is very transparent for whatever reason. And it's always been that way. It's not, let me get my nose a little bit right here. I've got a dark spot on my nose. So I think that looks pretty good. Speaking of dark spots, of course I have freckles, which I don't worry about too much because that's me. That's me. I have freckles. I'm not going to try to, hide the fact I have freckles. But one thing my dermatologist gives me to use, and I use this at night, is tretinoin. And it's by prescription, but you can ask your dermatologist for it, and I'll probably give it to you. I use it a couple nights a week, not every night, just like 2 or 3 nights. And it's supposed to help with the fine lines and the dark spots and, signs of aging. And I think even maybe a little bit of my old acne scarring in that. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure. But for sure, it's supposed to help with the dark spots, fine lines, like the texture of your skin. So I put that on first, and then at night, I put this over it. Okay, so there. I think it looks pretty good. Although it's not really drying, it's staying kind of moist. And I don't know if that's because of the vitamin E oil. Maybe. Okay, so now today for a foundation, I'm going to wear this L'Oreal True Color Match Lumi Healthy Luminous Makeup in the color Neutral. I'm going to shake it. Okay. And yes, I put it on with my fingers. This is, I'm kind of old school, because this is how we always did our makeup back in the day. We didn't use brushes to put our foundation on. I didn't, I guess I'm late to the party. But for me, a brush was always for your powder, not your liquid. We always put it on with our fingers, and then we did the powder over. So I guess that's, maybe that's old school. Okay, so there's half width. Here's the side without, and here's the side with. Okay. I kind of like this foundation. It's pretty inexpensive. It's drugstore. Most of my makeup is drugstore. I don't usually spend a lot, although I do have some Estee Lauder that I talked about previously. Okay, I didn't do my other side of my forehead right here. Okay. Wow, that under eye is still moist. All right, I'm just gonna do this. I don't know why it's so, I guess that vitamin E oil is maybe a little too intense for my makeup. It looks pretty good. Blotted that a little bit because it just seemed like it was too wet. Okay, then I have, oh, here it is. Then I have my Estee Lauder powder, double wear stay in place matte powder in the color 2C3 Fresco. And that I do use a brush. Okay, and this is how I do it. I just blot. So, yeah, I always, as a teenager and young adult, I always hated wearing foundation. I still do. I still really don't like wearing it. To me, it just feels, like too much. But today, since I'm going out, I will go ahead and wear it. Okay, then let me go ahead and do where'd it go? Here it is. My eyebrows. And like I showed you once before, I use mascara for my eyebrows. To me, I don't know. I don't like the eyebrow makeup that has a little tiny brush and it's like, and you can hardly see that you're putting anything on, and I don't know. So this is what I use. So I just kind of go over lightly, not pressing too hard. I just kind of skim over the tops of the hairs. Okay, just to add some color. Same thing on the other side. My eyebrows are so thin and so gray, and they've been thin and gray for a long time. From back in the 80s when we overplucked our eyebrows, and then it never grew back. That's one of my biggest regrets, was doing that. But that's just how it was. We didn't have anybody to show us, you know, our parents, our mothers, you know, from a different era. At least mine was. Okay, and then I'm gonna just fill in a little bit with my e.l.f. taupe. I think this is taupe. Anyway. Just fill in a little bit. It's giving the illusion that I have more of an eyebrow than I do. Same thing over here. Fill in the bare spots. And again, when I was a teenager, I didn't know how to pluck eyebrows. I didn't know you weren't supposed to pluck on top. And I plucked on top, which is, can't get that back. Once you pull them out too many times, they don't grow back. So, okay. Here, fix that tail a little bit. Try to make them match a little bit, best I can. There we go. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to wear eyeshadow today. Maybe I will. Okay, let's see. And I have an eyeshadow palette that I got at the dollar store. It's just different neutral shades. So I'm going to go ahead and do my lid with the lighter color. This is a light, creamy, kind of a sparkly color. I always liked how Marilyn Monroe did her eye makeup. She always had a light colored lid. Okay, then I'm going to go with a brown. Just a tiny bit on the edge and in my crease. You know, because it's daytime. You don't want to be overly dramatic for daytime. Kind of do a windshield washer motion here. That's how I describe it anyway, windshield washer. Now I know when you start to get hooded, they always say you should go up a little higher there. Okay. And then I'm gonna stick to this Swede mascara that I got in one of my FabFitFun boxes. I really like it. It's got this little tiny comb, and it does a really good job of separating your lashes. I mean, look. I've never had a mascara with this type of wand before. Sorry, it's hard to talk and do this because you really don't want to poke your eye. I'm kind of, as I'm pushing up, I'm kind of closing my lid. There. And then these are so, I usually don't do my bottom lashes, but with this one, I can actually do my bottom lashes. There, look at that. Wow. Now in a previous video, I said that I liked the Estee Lauder mascara, and I do. But it's $35. $35. I don't know how much this is, because like I said, I got it in a FabFitFun box. Oh, and I forgot to put my microphone on again. Why do I do that? Oh my goodness. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I mean, I'm sitting 6 inches from the phone, so I hope you can hear me. There. Oh my gosh, look at the length I got. Crazy. Now, can you imagine if I went over this again? How much I would have? Oh my gosh. Cool. I'm sorry. I'm still getting over being sick. I think I mentioned that. Okay, then I tight line using this Bobbi Brown long wear cream liner stick in the color Panther. Bobbi Brown. I find it works the best because I always have a hard time getting enough product out onto my lid with some of the other ones, so I don't know. This is the one I use. I just kind of go back and forth, concentrating on the outer part, not so much the inner part. Okay. And I don't know, people say that tight lining takes years off you. I guess because of the way our eyelids get as we get older, they get thicker or weirder looking or something, and this helps to kind of disguise it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why it is, but I have to be very careful not to poke my eye. There. What do you think? It's pretty good. I'm sorry. And then for lips, again, this is something else that I got in the FabFitFun box, this Wander lip setter. Wander lip setter, dual lipstick and liner, Bohemian blush. It's got a lip liner on one end and a lip gloss on the other. And I always try to match my color to my lips as best I can. I figure if that's my natural color, then that's what's going to look the best on me, but just enhanced. I don't know if that theory works for everyone, but it works for me. Now, because I don't have a very good Cupid's bow, I just ignore it. I just go over it. You know, it's non-existent, so. Okay, and then the other side is the actual gloss. There. And then if I want to do a little bit of blush, do a little bit of blush. I have my Estee Lauder Pure Color Envy. Oh, what's on the bottom of this? It's on the bottom of there. I think my oil, I think my vitamin E oil was leaking or something. Uh-oh, I better tend to that. Okay, so just a little bit up high. There. I don't know if that's too much. So that's it. That's me for going to my meeting, and then I'm going to curl my hair and I'll be ready to go. I don't use a contour. I don't know. I should, because I'm getting the jowls down here. This would be me with the facelift. That'll never happen. Not in this lifetime. Anyway, okay, well, I'm going to get going. Thanks for watching me. And I'm sorry it's been so long since I did a video, but like I said, I was feeling sick, so I wasn't able to do one. But I will try to come up with some good ideas for later in the week or next week for videos. But anyway, have a good day. Hope you're getting ready for Christmas and getting all your shopping done. See you next time.